want your opinion. I mean, your personal opinion about something. That is, if someone is biased against us,
Yeah.
can they be changed?
See, the biasness or the attitude of a person cannot be changed. Attitude is a part which can be which is not that flexible. As flexible, soft skills are. So, attitude of a person will change only with time, with continuous perseverance, but with continuous pursuance towards that person. Right. So we can change, no doubt, but it will take time. But
Okay,
soft
ma'am.
skills can help us in that.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Ashwarya. Yeah, anyone else?
Now I think this is start our second session for more focusing on the communication. Ma'am will again start this session, so please be concentrate here. Over to ma'am. Please start the
Okay,
session.
okay. So, till now, I have talked about soft skills and hard skills. Now, moving ahead with my presentation, I would like to tell you that how these soft skills can be developed, or how important these soft skills are there. Okay, so coming again to my this slide, the top 10 soft skills which I have been talking about since the last of my last presentation. The very first point, that is communication, which is one of most important soft skill. Able communicators can adjust to their tone style according to the audience, and comprehend and act efficiently on instructions, and explain complex issues to the colleagues and clients. So I think I have given the answer of one person also, that how it is going to help change the attitude of the other person. It will definitely help change the attitude of the other person. Why? Because when we start comprehending, when we start appreciating the other person, how can it be possible that the other person doesn't understand me? So if I want that you understand me better, I have to be empathetic, I have to understand your situation also. So all these will be developed through our soft skills only. A key to effective communication skill is listening. Now, second part, we can say, first was the language, style and tone. The second is the part is that is listening. The listening is also important aspect of communication. If you are not a good listener, then you cannot learn or respond to different circumstances or situations that arise in the organization. So to develop your soft skills, you have to be a very good listener. Then comes verbal and non-verbal skills are as important. Verbal skills means when we speak, we can say oral skills are called as verbal skills, or non-verbal skills are those skills which we say we can cover in body language or para language. Now, we should be able to understand that oral communication, body language and para language, all these three parts are specific aspects of communication which need to be covered when we talk about verbal and non-verbal communication. Now, body language means how you are moving your hands or limbs, making your eye contact with the other person, the face expression, the eyebrows, the lips, the smile on your face, how you greet the other person, all these cover your body language. When we talk about para language means the tone, the pitch of my my voice, the sentences I use, the words I use, all these are covered under para language. So once I start talking with the other person, soft skill come into play, and then at that moment I need to keep in mind how I am going to talk to the other person. So everything should go hand in hand. And for every kind of business communication, I specifically say business communication, it is necessary that we do our homework, we do our preparation very well. Because if we do our preparation about a certain topic, about a certain interaction with the person, then we will be able to deal with that person and with confidence. This also implies to our written communication. A lot of business communication is now played out by, so it is important to know good business etiquettes and give instructions clearly and concisely. So when we talk about communication, business etiquettes is also an important aspect where we need to understand the different manners, different factors which the organization is keen to see into the employees. Is the slide visible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
second aspect is self motivation, having a positive attitude and the initiative to work well without around the clock supervision is a vital soft skill. That means I have my ability to do my work myself, and I need no one to supervise me at every moment. So this type of self motivation comes from your soft skill. Not only does it demonstrate reliability and commitment of the person, but it also shows that you can fit efficiently in an organization structure without the need of constant supervision. The following key skills demonstrate motivation. You can see positivity, ambition, commitment, and initiativeness. Now, these are the basic skills which we say they demonstrate self motivation. Now, positivity means your outlook, your attitude towards a particular situation. So my attitude will change everything. If I look at the situation in a negative way, the negative solutions or negative problems can only come into my mind. So if I have to see that situation, I have to be very positive towards that particular situation. Similarly, my ambition, how ambitious I am to move to the next higher level, it will give me growth. So this growth will come through my self motivation. Then, of course, if I am self motivated, I will remain committed towards my job, towards my professional life. Why? Because continuous working, continuous learning, and growth will only be there if I am committed towards that particular job. Then, initiatives. A self motivated person will always be an initiator. That means he will always initiate towards solving of a problem or resolution to a certain conflict. While if we see a simply motivated person, he may or may not move towards resolution of the particular conflict. Then comes leadership. It is a soft skill that you can show even if you are not directly managing others. Those with strong leadership styles will have the ability to inspire others and lead team to success. Now, when we talk about different features of leadership, we have people with good leadership skills will have range of skills that is useful in the workplace, which includes a positive attitude and outlook. That means we can say leadership is one of the most important aspect of soft skills. So when you continuously communicate with each other, when you start interacting with other people, confidence comes and you are able to deal with certain situations. So when you are able to deal with this certain kind of situation, your outlook or your attitude changes. Your attitude may be neutral at the moment, but once you deal with two or three tough kind of situations in the organization, your attitude will move towards a positive outlook. The ability to make quick and effective decisions. So when you are able to look at the situation in a positive manner, you will be able to quickly find out the solutions to that tough problems. Then, exemplary problem solving or conflict management skills. Now, of course, when you are a leader, when you are your outlook is a positive one towards a particular situation, you will be able to deal with that situation, or you will be able to solve out that situation. You will be able to find probable solution to those particular situations that arise at random in the organization. The ability to communicate effectively, and aptitude for both self motivating and motivating others. So this is a very important aspect of a leader, that he himself is also a self motivated person while he motivates other to do the work also. So that is why you are able to influence people to work for you, because you are a good leader. Even if you are applying for an entry level role, don't be afraid to demonstrate your potential by showing how you have positively influenced other to take a project to success. That means you can take credits of that success that you have inputted into a particular project. Then comes responsibility. Now, with responsibility, we are seldom relating the term authority. So, if we want authority in our job, if we want authority in our position, so authority always comes with certain kind of responsibility. So, responsibility is seldom talked about, but high valued soft skills. So, if you are responsible, you are showing you are responsible, then why will people not trust you? Why will there be no confidence for you? The organization always finds people who are self responsible, self motivated. Colleagues who fail to take responsibility for their work will be less productive and less successful overall. So, to demonstrate high level of responsibility, make sure you have the following skills. That means trustworthiness. You need to have this kind of ability that the people trust you. So this means once you say a thing, once you make a commitment, you are required to fulfill that commitment. So if you fulfill, then the trust starts building. Then that means you have started building your responsibility. Discipline. Of course, discipline is a very important aspect. Discipline in every aspect. Time discipline, stress discipline, the motivation to do work in time. So all these are covered under discipline aspect. So once the person is disciplined or he becomes disciplined, responsibility is already in line with discipline. Then motivation. Now motivation means the ability to motivate myself, motivate oneself, or you can say it is a kind of skill that will be displaying your own influential level to work on a certain topic, or to work towards certain goal. So how motivated or how boosted you are towards the achievement of that goal, that is defined through this motivation. Consciousness, you can say a sixth sense, or your sense of understanding what is wrong, what is right, or judgmental of a particular situation between right and wrong. All this will come with responsibility. Now, of course, responsibility and accountability is also important. If you are responsible enough, you are accountable for that particular job also. So if you are, or we can say vice versa, if we are accountable, then I have the responsibility of that accountability. Taking responsibility means taking ownership of not only your goals but the wider company goals. That means integrating your own personal goals with the goals of that of the organization. This will mean taking the initiative to make improvement. Now, of course, when we start taking responsibility, we will start improving ourselves. We will start brushing up of our skills, sharpening of our soft skills. This means taking the initiative to make improvement, accepting responsibility for all any failures, or really caring about working your way to success. Then comes teamwork. Good teamwork involves a combination of other soft skills. We can say together everyone achieves more. So when we work in team, it can be a synergy that can be achieved in an organization. By synergy, I mean 1 plus 1 is equal to 3, or we can say 2 plus 2 is equal to 5. So whenever a team works, the different members, though they are alone, but once they work together, they can give a higher output. This is what I mean by synergy. That means 2 plus 2 is equal to 5. Now, working in team towards a common goal requires intuition and interpersonal acumen to know when to be a leader and when to be a listener. Now, when working in a team, we can certainly be playing two kinds of role, that is leader or a listener. So it will definitely help us understand in different situations that when we can be a leader or when we can be a listener, right? So when we talk about good team players, they are perceptive, they as well as receptive to the needs and responsibility of others. That means perceptive word comes from perception. That means the understanding of thoughts of different people. And receptive means responding to different situations in the organization. So a good team player, a good team member should be perceptive. He should be understanding the different thought process of the different people, different members of his group, as well as he should understand, he should respond to different requirements of these members. So when we talk about team, that means it is composed of different number of people who come together on a particular project or on a particular process. Now, of course, I have certain responsibility towards my team member as well as the goal of that particular whole team. So if I want to if I want that the team achieves the goal, so for that purpose each member of that team has to achieve his or her goal. Then comes problem solving. Problem solving does not just require analytical, critical, creative skills, but a particular mindset that those who can approach a problem with a cool and level head will often reach a situation more efficiently than those who cannot. So, a problem. If we talk about problem solving, it is more of a approach than a skill. So if I want to solve a problem or if I want to reach to a solution to a problem, so for that person purpose the approach of a person should be in a positive manner. So I have just put up a small simple process of problem solving in the right hand of the slide. You can see if we look into various steps of problem solving, we can say identifying the problem is the very first step over here. Why identifying the problem is very important step? Because is that situation actually a problem or not? This is important, and this will come from attitude of the person. If I'm looking at a particular situation with a negative attitude, of course it will showcase it as a problem. But if I look at that particular situation in a positive attitude, with a positive attitude or positive outlook, maybe that situation is not even a problem itself. So identifying that whether there is a problem or not, or if there is a problem, what kind of problem is it? Then we come to the next point, that is define. That is once we have identified the problem, we need to define. That means we need to analyze each and every problem. Now analyzing, understanding, that means different aspects, different factors that are considered to be a problem or a problem area, they need to be understood and probable solutions are found out. Then explore. Now once we have defined our problem, we need to explore different alternatives that can be used to solve this problem. Now when we talk about different alternatives, we cannot use all the alternatives to solve the problem. Now for that purpose I would be needing certain kind of other skills, like you can say statistical skills, that data analysis skills. Why? Because I have certain information about the topic. Now I need to understand, I need to analyze this situation. Now if I want to understand this situation, I need to find out the different alternatives, and these alternatives may come from my academic background or my educational background. So I am going to explore different ways through which this problem can be solved. Now I will shortlist these alternatives. Why? Because not all the alternatives can be used. So I will be prioritizing my alternatives, or I would be evaluating these alternatives, and after evaluation I would be getting one or two alternatives, best alternatives, which can be used in that particular problem situation. Then comes the action. The chosen first best or the second best alternative will be implemented to solve the problem. Now I have done till action. Now look back. Now every process requires a feedback. Why? Because once we look into the feedback, once we look into the look back of that particular process, we are able to understand what has been our drawbacks, or what has been our problem areas, or what has been our you can say mistakes that can be rectified or that should be rectified once this problem is solved and this kind of same problem arises in the organization. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is a soft skill which can often rely on strong teamwork. So problem solving is a kind of a skill which always requires your team, because no kind of situation can be solved with the help of other people who are there at work. None, only one person, if he thinks he can solve the whole problem, it is not so, because everyone is playing a part in the organization. So organization, if we look at organization, it can be a team, and every member is as precious, and their work is as precious. So when we talk about problem solving, teamwork is also an important aspect. The ability to know who can help you reach a situation, is reach a solution, or how they can do it, and can be of great advantage. Everyone can give you a solution, every member can give you a solution. You can get a great advantage of good people, expert people in your organization. Then comes the decisiveness or decision making ability. So this is also a part of soft skill, and we can say it is a seventh kind of soft skill that is most desirable by the organizations in today's world. Why? Because good decision making abilities in the organization will always lead you to better results, effective outcomes of the organization. So decisiveness is a characteristic by the ability to make quick and effective decision. It does not mean recklessness or impulsive. Now if I say your decision should be quick and effective, that means it should not contain such kind of decisions which are not based on data, which are not based on any kind of analysis. So quick means analyzed, understood situation, understood data, and then only responding to such kind of situation. So recklessness and impulsiveness has no place in decisiveness. Decisiveness combines several different abilities. The ability to put things to perspectives. Now of course, when we look into the decisiveness or decision making ability, there we need to put different things into different perspectives. Now this we will be able to do only when we have good decision making ability. Weigh up the options. Now by options I mean different alternatives. What alternatives I am having, I cannot use all the alternatives at once as a solution, so I have to weigh up them. Now weigh up means I have to evaluate them, I have to get the probable outcome of every alternative. Why? Because every alternative cannot give me equal kind of output. So the best alternative with best output will be taken up as the first choice, then second best alternative with second best output will give me the second choice. Now over here I want to tell you all that once we are taking different decisions in our professional as well as personal life, we should always have plan B ready with us. We always have plan A. That means in all the critical situation, what I will do as plan A. But we never think of the second plan, the plan B. Plan B comes only when the plan A fails. But a good manager, a good decision maker will always keep a plan B ready. So assess all the relevant information. Now when taking the decision, all the relevant information should be collected, it should be analyzed, and it should be assessed very carefully and accurately. Only then the decisions will be good in the perspective of the organization. Anticipate any consequences, good or bad. So if once decision has been taken with the help of relevant data, you need to appreciate the consequences that are met. Now of course whatever the consequences may be, good or bad, you need to anticipate them, because you have already weighed up all the options, you have already looked into the different relevant information. So whatever was the best decision in that particular situation, that has been already taken up. Now they take responsibility for consequences of their decision and can adapt when mistakes are made. This ensures that the opportunities aren't missed by lengthy analysis or debate. Now, ability to work under pressure or time management. This is a very important aspect, very interesting aspect as well. Many jobs come with demanding deadlines, sometimes high stakes. Recruiters value candidates who show a decisive attitude and unfaltering ability to think clearly and capacity to compartmentalize, and set stress aside. Now, these words are very heavy, but in a very simpler sense, I would say that ability to deal with different situations or different stress situations in the organization, this is a very, you can say, very a good aspect which can be covered, which can be influenced from time management. So if I am able to manage my time, if I am able to manage my stress level, I would be able to deal with different situations in the organization. Recruiters value candidates who show a decisive attitude and unfaltering ability to think. That means you should be having the ability to think beyond, think out of the box. That means whatever you have heard, you have learned till now, you should be able to think beyond that. You should be able to bring out something new, bring out something creative. Then only you will be able to deal with different stress situation in the organization. Now, employees who manage their time well can efficiently prioritize tasks and organize their diaries while adapting an attitude which allows them to take on new tasks and deadlines. So for this purpose, I have brought here a priority mix. This was being uploaded by skillsyouneed.com, but it is a very good matrix. We can apply it in our personal life as well as our say professional life. Why? Because this matrix tells us that what are the things, what are the activities or processes that needs priority, and what are the processes which we do not need to do any kind of action. We are often jumbled in two kinds of situations: should I do or should I not do? So for that purpose, this priority matrix will help me a lot. See, on the x-axis, I'm having how urgent is the task, where high urgency and low urgency is there, and on the y-axis, I'm having how important is the task. Means there is a difference between important and urgent. So urgent means something which has to be done with effectiveness immediately, but importance can wait for certain time period. So how important is the task? It ranges from low importance to high importance. So the very first block, that is this red one, that is do first. If any of the task in the organization falls into this box, say it is highly important and highly urgent, so you need to do those tasks or those processes at the very first priority level. Then comes your second one, that is the orange one, do next. That means after the first one, you need to do this one, where you have given importance to the importance of the task, while urgency becomes lower, but the importance become important. That means it is important for the organizational growth, it is important for that situation to be hold or held. So I will do this task in my second priority list. Then comes importance is now superseded by you can say urgency. Now comes the highly urgent, next high urgent job which you can do later on. Then comes, if something is not so urgent and not so important, and there is no need to take any kind of action, don't do such kind of activities. So it is important to categorize different activities, different decision making abilities, decision making situations in the organization. Why? Because we deal with them on a daily basis. So if I have prioritized, of course I would not go wrong depending on my soft skills. I would not go wrong on my decisions if I prioritize my you can say prioritize my processes, prioritize my activities in the organization. Now the ninth one, that is the flexibility. Now flexibility is an important soft skill. Now flexibility over here, I do not mean the flexibility of our body, how well I can do yoga or how well I can do my belly dance. With flexibility means flexibility in soft skills, it means how well I am able to deal with people, how well I am able to go compatible with people or other situations, and how far I am able to change myself and adapt myself to certain changes that are coming up. So I need to embrace those changes in the organization, as well as the changes that need to be adapted in my personality or my own perception. So flexibility is an important soft skill since it demonstrates an ability and willingness to embrace new tasks and new challenges calmly and without fuss. Flexible employees are willing to help out where needed, take on extra responsibilities, and can adapt quickly when plan changes. So over here, I can be more flexible when I know the change will be a positive one, when I know the outcomes will be a positive one, and I can be flexible when I'm already having a plan B, plan C ready if my plan A and plan B fail. So for flexibility purpose, I should be more of present minded. I should be my thought process should go on very in a very faster manner, and thought process should always be combined with analysis and understanding of data of that particular situation. Then comes employers are looking for candidates who can show a willing and upbeat attitude, who are unfazed by change. So the employers are also looking into the different situations where situations or different candidates who are more flexible, who take up the responsibility, who take up the challenges that come up in the organization, and they are able to deal with these challenges with a very positive output, or you can say very positive emotional quotient. Then comes the last of 10 soft skills that we were discussing, that is negotiation and conflict resolution. This is another of those soft skills which employers look for in potential leaders. To be an adept negotiator, is to know how to be persuasive and exert influence while sensitively seeking a solution which will benefit all parties. Similarly, conflict resolution depends on a strong interpersonal skill and ability to establish a rapport with colleagues and clients alike. Now, I have come up with you can say, an example where a person from customer service job has all these certain 10 soft skills to deal with the different aspects of his job. Now, if a person is into customer service, now his communication should be a type of communication where clear communication is there. That means he is speaking in clear sentences and collecting correct data from the customer and answering him in clear terms what all the organization can do for him. Then similarly, the second part, the different second skill that he has to have, that is the listening skills. He continuously keeps on listening to the complaints of the customers and calmly listening to this complaints of the customer and trying to resolve the each and every problem that come up from the part of the customer. Then self control, of course, are different situations come up when a customer service person deals with the people at different level, because he's going to talk, he's going to interact with people with different mind frames. So everyone will not be so humble, so courteous. Some people may be rude. So all these situations require a lot of self control, self motivation, that yes, I have to find solution to each and every problem that comes up from my flexible customer to my rigid customer. Then comes the positive attitude. That means every problem should have a solution. So you should, with this positive attitude, you will be able to give solution to each and every problem that come up from the side of the customer. Then assertive, of course, you need to be assertive when you are at a customer service job, or you need to ask the people, will that be enough, or you need to go in to check that whether they are satisfied with your solution or not. Then comes conflict solution. Of course, this will also help a customer service job person to solve whatever conflict or whatever problem is there. Then empathy. Once you can only be able to solve the problem once you know what he is undergoing. So whatever problem he is undergoing, whatever feelings the customer is having, if you are not able to deal, if you are not able to understand those situations, those feelings, you won't be able to come up with a good kind of solution. So empathy is also an important part. Then comes depersonalization, taking responsibility. You have to take responsibility for whatever solutions you are giving to your customer. A sense of humor. You need to greet, you need to keep the conversation light, you need to keep everything very light, yet serious and mature kind of conversation. So this is an example of the same 10 skills, 10 soft skills which need to be applied to this particular job. Then comes the second next topic, that is how can I improve my soft skills. So I have continuously told that soft skills can be improved, can be acquired with practice. So if we start practicing them, we start giving time to them, if we start enhancing our skills, moving from learning to our growth process in the organization, I will be able to develop my soft skills. So, following 4 points are very important when I talk about how to improve my soft skills. Now, participate in self-reflection. If you are giving a solution to a particular problem, or you are dealing with a certain situation, you should put yourself in that particular situation first. So, if you will be putting yourself, you will be able to understand what can be the outcome. If that outcome is positive, this situation is very good. If the outcome that you are giving, the solution to that you are giving is negative, then of course, if you are not able to participate, if you are not willing to participate in certain kind of situation which gives a negative output, of course the other person will also not want to. So in order to improve, you must first be honest to yourself about where your shortcomings are. This isn't always easy. If you are struggling, ask a friend or family member to help you identify your true strengths and weaknesses. So, for that purpose, it is important you start preparing your strengths and weaknesses, finding out your strengths and weaknesses, and I would say you should capitalize on your strength, and you should try to, you can say, divest on your investment weaknesses. So if I capitalize on my strengths, I know this is my interest. If I interact with people very well, the people find me good friend or find good solutions in my decision making abilities, of course I should go further in this particular field itself. Similarly, if I have certain kind of weaknesses, I should divest in that area. That means I should not go and invest my time, my practice in that particular area. Rather, I should leave those areas where I am weak. Look for online training. On once you have identified the areas you need to improve, look for some online courses that will help you to learn skills that will be useful in the workplace. Observe others. So if you do not go for online training, or you are not able to handle the situation, or you are not able to deal with certain practical issues in the organization, observe others calmly, coolly, quietly. Observe others. By looking at others, you can exemplify soft skills and you want to improve. If you have relationship with them, ask for their advice or coaching. But I would say in a professional life, advising or coaching doesn't go in the professional organizations. So it is better that you observe. By observation of 2 or 3 days or 5 days, you can come to a conclusion that what others do in similar kind of situations. Lastly, we can say that practice is also an important aspect. All soft skills will improve with practice. Once you have obtained training or coaching, practice using your newfound skills with your friends, families before your interview. This will give you a confidence to take these skills into the workplace. So, lastly, we can say soft skills can help me develop certain different skills in different areas, or arena or plethora of skills can be acquired through soft skills. First of all, by presentation skills, my communication skills, how I present myself, how I present my information that I'm going to give. Then communication skills, how I'm interacting with other people, how I'm talking to other people, how I'm addressing my colleagues, how I'm addressing my boss, how I'm giving my grievances. All this will be covered under communication skills. Then job interview skills, that means answering to the various queries. It can be related to different expert areas or specialized areas in an interview. Then team skills, how I am compatible with the members, other members of the team, how I'm able to cooperate with the other members of the team. Then leadership, how I am able to come up with certain solutions in a particular team, or I'm able to influence other to do work. That is called as leadership skills. Then comes time management skill. All the things are timeline. Whatever activities undergo in an organization should be timeline. Because if we do not limit the activities with time, of course, what will happen? We will continuously keep on doing it. Once we have limited it with time, then the things will complete in time. So time management is an important part. Then comes the last skill, that is customer service skills. We will be able to deal with different customers who are maybe our prospective clients, stakeholders, or shareholders of the organization. So all these skills will ultimately help us to deal with different queries, different questions that come up from the side of the customer. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Any questions, participants? Please put up your questions. Meanwhile, I am pasting the quiz link in the chat box. So please, if you have any queries, can ask with ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, I have a question.
Yes,
Ma'am,
Pranita.
can we say that good listener be a good leader?
See, good listener is you can say a base of everything. If I cannot be a good listener, I won't be able to understand the basic situation of that person or any situation in the organization that comes up. So I need to be a good listener for becoming a good leader. Then only I will be able to solve the problem or problem areas of that particular organization.
Any other participants?
Well, does this writing is also come under skills, communication skill? The writing the
See,
mail?
writing, Pranita, writing is a part of your hard skill. It doesn't covers under your soft skills. It is a part of your communication. So if we talk about verbal communication, there I have told about writing, written communication. Why? Because once we start speaking, once we are into oral communication, we need to keep our information ready. So while speaking, I may or may not skip some of the points of my information. So for that purpose, I should keep everything ready in written form, so that while giving information, it is complete. None of the points are skipped. So writing, written communication can be you can say can be added to our verbal and non-verbal communication.
Okay. Any else? Anybody else? So I think, ma'am, we can say that for becoming a good leader, good motivator, good mentor, and even in altogether for becoming a good entrepreneur, of course, your communication skills should be strong. Communication maybe in hard form or soft form. Soft skills should also be very strong, ma'am,
Yeah,
right?
we can say that hard skills are as important as soft skills. But if
Yes.
we talk about proportion, it goes, you can say 60-40. That means 60 your soft skills and 40 your hard skills. Either to become an entrepreneur or to be a good, or to get a job in the market.
So yeah, I think participants, as ma'am said, your plan B should be ready every time. If plan B will execute when your plan A will fail, but you should keep with plan B for if what happen if plan A will fail, right? So this is the basic of. I think this session will helpful for maintaining your soft skill. So thank you so much, ma'am, for this wonderful session,
Thank you,
and.
Jayashree ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. If any participants having any other query can ask. Thank you so much, ma'am. We will start our session in next 5 minutes.